So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna coach at schools or like teach at schools. So that's what I did and what I was hired for. So I was hired for a trainer for speaking, etc. Just not to be focused on work. As soon after on sales, sorry, because sales it took me too much energy. I couldn't do it anymore. So as soon as I got home, oh gosh, like I don't know how I survived. Like seriously, I don't know how I survived. But as soon as I got home, I just went immediately to my couch. I didn't feed myself, so I didn't cook. I couldn't cook. I was just tired. And a day later, I just go to my job again because I was so good in holding up that mask and just smiling and pretending. And I was really
Mhm.
good at that. Um, a year after that, no, I think 6 months into that, I was afraid to go outside. I was really, yeah, it was it because I never went to the doctors. I never got help. It was so awful that I seriously thought that all people outside were looking at me. I thought everybody like were aliens. I don't know. Like I was not okay.
Welcome to your Wordless podcast, the space where we redefine success, self worth, and transformation. I am Nick Nieras, the soul centered architect of transformation, helping you unlock your highest potential and build a legacy beyond limits. Now, whether it is self mastery, career breakthroughs, or wealth creation, this is where change begins. Now, let's dive in.
Thank you so much, Nicolette. I'm very excited to be here. Yeah,
Likewise.
just to share my knowledge. I'm really excited. Um, yeah, so let's just jump in.
Let's jump in. Yes. Okay, Sharon. I always like to take my listeners and my guests a trip down memory lane. Can you first share with us what was it like growing up as a Sharon Van Sprang?
When I was little, oh yeah, so I was born in Suriname, which is in South America. We came to the Netherlands when I was a baby, so I'm practically Dutch. But my parents, of course, are like not Dutch. So the culture is completely different. My dad was really strict. Yeah, which in a culture where, in the Netherlands, there's a lot of freedom and how like, children, for example, speak to the parents. Yeah, in my household, it was all about respect. So, yeah, sometimes it could be a bit difficult. Yeah, but I'm really happy with the upbringing I got. Still, I had to unlearn a lot of things because you know what? I know all of the parents wanted to do it really well. And, the best that you can do is what you know. So there were a lot of patterns that I had to break through to really become, yeah, the woman that I am today. Like in the Netherlands, like I lived in a little village. So it was just nice to be outside. My whole family lived in the same village that we were living. So it was all about connection, family, food. And I must say, the longer we stayed in the Netherlands, the less that, that real connection sticks because you become kind of like Dutch, which
Oh.
means no, like really, like no, like warm family bonds and no dinners, etc. So yeah, that's the downside of it all. If you eventually starting to really embrace that culture, but yeah, that's something a little bit about me. Always, yeah, I was always that butterfly. I'm still that butterfly. So yes, I do what I love. And I love what I do. I travel as well because the Netherlands in in the winter is a no go for me. So I go like last year. Oh yeah, this year I went to Brazil, and the
Mm.
year before to Mexico, etc. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, about the little Sharon. Yeah.
There's so many ear prick up moments. You said unlearning. You said patterns that you grew up with that served you then, or maybe you had a different interpretation of it when you were little, but it's now different, or you had to do a lot of work
Hmm.
to really understand why you picked those up and why it is not serving you now.
Yes.
Um, and well, okay, obviously, I am a very curious person. So, my question to you now, Sharon, what is your backstory in terms of your career and what I'm sure you had burnout. So can you tell us how did it unfold?
Yes, thank you so much. It's so funny that you say, like, I'm sure you have had burnout. It's kind of like something that happens to a lot of us, unfortunately.
Me too.
But my backstory, so I did my master's in marketing and I started working like really in the beginning of the career path. It was all about like just exploring as well. But also, after your studies, you want to have that amazing career. You want to become a manager or a leader. And that was something that I wanted to do. So the first time that I got a really difficult time with my patterns is when I got like a more senior position and I started working more closely with my manager. And because I'm so used to and because in my culture it is like somebody that's older than you just respect. You say yes and you just do it.
Mm.
So that would also happen when, like, in my senior position as a marketer, my manager, as soon as my manager asked something, I was just running. I was okay, okay, I have to do it. And I was not even thinking about how or what. He wants me to do it, so I will do it. And yeah, that was very unhealthy. And my manager also told me, like, Sharon, listen, I hired you because you have an expertise. And it's not when I ask you something, you should do it. I'm looking for your expertise. So please bring it to the table. And this was my first time that I was like, is that possible? Is that even possible? Can I share my opinion? So that was funny.
Mm.
So this is like my first eye-opening moment. Eventually, fast forward because otherwise, I can talk about my backstory for years, for hours, not years.
We could we could have another podcast just for your backstory.
No, but fast forward, we all had to deal with COVID, lockdown, etc. And I was freelancing at that moment. Eventually, like after 3 years, I got all these beautiful projects lined up for me. I was working with an international company, etc. Absolutely ready for it. And then, like 2 weeks later, COVID hit, and they all called me like, Sharon, sorry, but
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
we are not sure how or what. And I'm freelancing, so no money. So that was quite
Yes.
stressful. And that's the second time that I realized my pattern is working hard. My dad always told me, like, listen, we are in a different country. You have to work hard. To be seen, you have to work hard. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter what, you work hard. So yeah, I had to survive. I was in my survival mode. This is when patterns just light up, right? When we are in survival and we don't even realize that we are doing them or doing it. So I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I immediately started working until 10 because I had to figure out what I'm going to do next. So eventually, I found that a lot of people were thinking about launching their own business. And me as a marketing strategist, and I created a few companies, so why not? So that's how I started to become a business coach, and I had a few clients. But still, they could call me in the weekend, at night. I will always react. I will always be there just to help out, and that's not doable in for a long period. So I did it for a year until, like, I absolutely could not anymore. I couldn't. I think it was burnout, but yeah, I never went to the doctors, or I always deal with my things my own way.
Are you stuck in a job that you don't love, feeling like you're meant for more? It is not in your head, it is in your soul. I am Nick Nieras and I help high achievers like you break free from burnout, rewire self doubt, and build a life aligned with purpose. through coaching, hypnotherapy, and soul activation. Because let's face it, real wealth isn't just about money, it is about a aligned and happy heart, mind, and soul. Now, remember, you are worthy and you are enough. Let's transform your life together. Visit www.thenignerasholisticlifestyle.com to begin.
So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna coach at schools or like teach at schools. So that's what I did and what I was hired for. So I was hired for a trainer, for speaking, etc. Just not to be focused on work. As soon after on sales, sorry, because sales it took me too much energy. I couldn't do it anymore. So as soon as I got home, oh gosh, like I don't know how I survived. Like seriously, I don't know how I survived. But as soon as I got home, I just went immediately to my couch. I didn't feed myself, so I didn't cook. I couldn't cook. I was just tired. And a day later, I just go to my job again because I was so good in holding up that mask and just smiling and pretending. I was really
Mhm.
good at that. Um, a year after that, no, I think 6 months into that, I was afraid to go outside. I was really, yeah, it was because I never went to the doctors. I never got help. It was so awful that I seriously thought that all people outside were looking at me. I thought everybody like were aliens. I don't know, like I was not okay. And
Okay.
I'm laughing at it now, but
That is
when I
something.
yes, I was like highly like stressed and I just got delusional and when you like yeah, I don't know what the English word is, but yeah, it is something that, happens. So I was like, okay, I don't know anymore. So luckily, my friend asked me if she could coach me.
She offered.
And in the beginning, I was like, nope, no, 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 no. But eventually, I had to. I couldn't do it anymore. So what she showed me was that all the knowledge is inside of me. Everything what's happening is inside of me. It's all about self leadership. And when you're stressed, and this is also what I say to my clients, your mind is not there to make you happy. It's there to keep you safe.
Mm.
uh, we are like we have evolved, like technique around us has evolved, but our brain has not evolved. So it's still things that we have to like survive from that saber tooth tiger, like every situation. For example, when you're in a conversation with your manager or with team members and you want to speak up, it can still give you stress, because especially in how like in team connections, because when in the prehistoric time, when nobody liked us and they shoved us out of the group, you were left for that. and
Yeah.
and that's the same thing we react, and that's how our patterns still react. And it's like a lot of stress, and when your brain is stressed, it cannot make the right connections anymore. It cannot think clearly. So the only thing that you could do is getting on your patterns. 95% of our behaviors, it's unconscious. It
Yes.
is unconscious, so you don't even know what you're doing. It's all survival. And I was in survival for 2 years, and I couldn't make sense out of everything, and that's why I went a little bit cuckoo. So
You went a little bit cuckoo.
I
Okay.
went a little bit cuckoo. So yeah, we have two other intelligence. So it's the heart intelligence that has 40,000 neurons, which can actually be, yeah, it could be a separate brain, because there's a lot of knowledge, but we never really make a
Oh my
connection.
God. I love that. Yes.
Because yeah, we have memories stored in here. When wisdom, like, sorry, when memory is connected to a feeling, it becomes your reality. But if there's no connection, it's just wisdom. So you know how many, like, and it depends on what type of connection you make. Because if there's a wrong connection, like, how do we call it, trauma? And
Mm.
trauma doesn't have to be big, it could be small as well. But it's all stored in your heart, in your body, in your gut. in your not only here, but we are so used to thinking about with the brain. But what
Mhm.
if the brain is malfunctioned? You cannot use it. So she taught me to just make connection with my intuition, with my feelings. Like that women that had to be ashamed of, oh yeah, when we say like, oh my God, I have a gut feeling about this.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel right. It's actually scientifically proven that we can feel energy. So this is also my goal with New Leaders Movement. Get connected with your intuition, because most of the time you're in survival mode, and most of the time you're doing things unconsciously. If you want to be in control of your life, you need to start taking your other intelligence into account. So that was my backstory. So I eventually, like in a few sessions, I came back in my power. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur again, really start, collaborate. I had the energy again. Without energy, there's nothing. Like, you cannot push yourself forward. You feel terrible. Everything around you is terrible. As an entrepreneur, you really need your energy. So then I started to, and I didn't ever thought that I was going to become I call it an inner leadership mentor, which is all about self leadership. But after I did the course, so I'm certified multiple brain integration technique coach. And
Wow.
uh,
Multiple brain technique coach.
yes, multiple brain integration technique, which is all about coherency. Funny thing, I can just like blah 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 all the way. Like
No,
I have
please,
all sorts of
please. My next question to you would be the no, multiple
multiple
brain
brain
integration technique.
integration.
Yeah, I need
Yes,
you to break it down for me because
yes.
I'm all ears.
So I'm going to talk about multiple brain integration and also about coherency.
Yes, please.
So funny thing, and I can just explain it with an exercise that was done for me. Um, so I always go abroad, but I never make the step to actually.
Hi, I'm Nick Nieras, your host of the Your Worthless podcast. Now, if this real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
Give everything up here and just like go and leave.
Oh,
Yes.
so that means you go abroad for travels, but not to leave
Yes.
the
Yes.
Netherlands.
While
Okay.
that was always in my heart, I feel in my heart that I really want to do it. So we did an exercise where I had to like connect with the heart and just to understand, okay, what does the heart think about this situation? And the heart was really ready. It's like, oh, Sharon, let's do it. We're gonna go for it. Like, spread our wings and fly. And then the brain was like, listen, yeah,
Not safe.
I don't think it's the right move at this moment. Like, how are you gonna make money? And then the gut was like, sorry, I need to agree with the mind, because yeah, it doesn't feel
That
safe.
is so
So
powerful.
there's like a discrepancy, right? There's like they are
Mm-hmm.
not aligned. And multiple brain integration technique is about aligning the three intelligences. So you make steps, or you understand why you're not feeling okay because you're not doing the thing that your heart maybe says you want to do, but your brain tells you not to. So yeah, it makes you understand more about why you're not making moves. It understands makes you understand more about why you're scared, etc., etc. So it's all about deep diving into your intelligences. The New Leaders Movement, however, is more than that, because with the New Leaders Movement, I really focus on getting women into the next level. So women in, it could also be companies, of course, but senior positions and leadership positions to get to the next level. because we all, I think 70% of the women, based on a report of McKinsey, are still dealing with imposter syndrome. And that means that, yeah, there's some work to do. So first step is becoming more conscious about what is happening. Secondly is connecting with your intuition. Thirdly is self-love, and I know it sounds fluffy, but self-love really makes you feel you're more in the lead and comfortable in your skin, so you're brave enough and have the energy to actually break through. And this is also, like, I wrote a book, Beyond the Ceiling, and this is also what the book is about, getting you through those 4 steps and going beyond that ceiling, get reaching what you want in your heart, in your mind, and in your gut. And it's all about the inner, it's all about the inner work, it's all about the inner work. So long story.
Okay. I have a question. Okay, now after you set for the test, are you gonna? What's your action? Are you gonna go or are you gonna stay?
Yes, event like now I am, because it's this is hard work. This is hard work, and you can only break down a few things at a time, because I think it's something logical that you just prioritize the most important thing. So the most challenging thing for you, that's the one thing that you prioritize, that you really focus on, to become that person that you want to be, or yeah, that you need to be. I include neuroscience into my practice, which is all about creating new neural pathways, and you cannot create new neural pathways in a second. It's hard work. It's really like breaking through the patterns. Secondly is really like focus on that self-love. Thirdly is really understanding when the patterns are happening and what you can do yourself to get out of it. And eventually you go, like, for me it took, I am now at that point, because I'm in the point of like selling my house, and I already know where I want to buy a house. And
Are you
so
gonna move out of the Netherlands or outside of it?
I'm gonna move out of the Netherlands.
Are you gonna? Am I privy to that knowledge, or should I just be in contact with you once you actually made them make?
No, yeah, what's gonna happen in like 3 or 4 months? So
Really? Okay, so where are you going?
no, so like the idea is bigger, because I also thought, like, I want to understand how. No, I want to make money in a different type of way. So not only with work,
Ah,
with investments. So I want to, like, for example, have an investment project in Bali, but then I also want
you're
to,
gonna be very close to me. I
yes,
think I'm gonna see you in Bali. I
but
have
that's
plans to
just
do retreat there. So,
absolutely,
oh my god,
oh,
we probably will connect again.
connect, yeah. So I'm going, but that's an investment project. But then I also have money left to maybe just buy something small in Lisbon, or sorry, in Portugal. So if I have to do sessions here in the Netherlands, I can just fly and just come here, or so
I
it's
love
close,
it.
but outside. And the investment project in Bali, I'm just going to be there for 2 months a year, might not even. But I want to understand more about the power of money and do things differently. Like, I decided, this I'm going to start my second life, and this is what I'm going to do. And that means that I cannot be held back by fear. And if, of course, we get scared, but I'm just going to push through. If I make mistakes, oh well, at least I did it.
Yeah.
And that is all about, like, this is the process that I'm no th- yeah, this is the level that I'm at now. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy. It's very powerful, and it's all like what I'm teaching, what I say, it's all about self-leadership. So everybody can do it for themselves when they understand what to do. It's so easy to get there. It's so easy to get there. Yeah.
I mean, you are walking the talk. Definitely.
Yes.
This is what you teach to your clients, and now you're doing it yourself.
Mhm.
So, okay, now you've spoken or you've coached so many individuals. I'm not sure if you also coach men, but what I read from your profile, women. What
Yeah.
is the common themes that you see with these women?
Okay.
Mm.
Mhm. So I also coach teams because like
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Women and
most of the
teams.
time like men have the same, but my focus is indeed on women. We think we have to change. We think we have to be somebody else, especially when you're in senior position and leadership position, because at school we are taught that managers deserve respect and being nice yeah, it's people will just walk over you. So we are really trying, because men, they already know what leadership is for men. That's what we've been taught. Yes, we've been
Yeah.
taught
Oh, that's a good
how
one.
men lead. But
Yes.
we have to
Yes.
figure that
Yes.
out for ourselves. How do women lead? How do we
How?
lead?
Oh my God. I
Yes.
am interested.
So at first we think we need to be like men because that's what we've
Mm.
been taught. And you know what? Yeah, if you don't know better. So
Guilty. Guilty.
yeah, but we are all guilty. We are all guilty about it. So we have to figure it out ourselves. Because I've also been interviewing 35 women in leadership positions in the finance and tech sector. So, the male dominated sectors,
Mm.
just to find out, like, you know what, if they did it, we can all do it. What was that tipping point for you that actually made you like, oh, geez, I'm not going to do this anymore. I am not going to pretend to be
That
somebody.
I'm a male.
I'm going to follow my intuition. This is how I am
Yes.
authentically. So, this is how I'm going to do business. And if you don't like it, I am sorry. But there's a whole lot of challenges before you actually get to that understanding. So they had to like fall flat on their face. And what you see as well is that they, started to understand, starting to notice, starting to learn, and then making step forward just to create the leadership that really fits them. And I think authenticity, it is freaking scary, I know, especially. And let me just tell you a story. So I interviewed one of the ladies. She's from Portugal. Her name is Nuria, and she was a scientist. So when she liked to connect with people. So science was not like her thing, because she was more like she liked to talk to people, really understand them. So she started to work at a sales company, but they were focused on research. She had to do a lot of cold calls. She had a script, and it was just not working for her. So once she decided, you know what, I'm not going to look at that script. I'm just going to be interested in people. Because that's what I do. I like to be interested in people. I don't want to be this salesperson because I'm not. So she didn't push herself to become that person by doing sales technique or training or whatever. No, she's like, this is who I am. This is my power. And she was already there, that she was brave enough and had self-love and accepted herself, because I am a scientist. I like people. Let me do my thing. So she decided to do it differently. And eventually she got the best results, better than all her colleagues. So her manager saw her, and then she got in a senior position just to help the teams to get actually to the point that she was. So when you're finally there to embrace yourself completely, stand in your power, not be led by fear or not being liked, because if you don't read the script, oh yeah, your boss gonna be angry and he's not gonna like you. Fear of doing it wrong, so not trusting yourself enough. We really have to figure out how we need to lead, how we can lead, what fits us, trusting also that gut instinct. Because it is scientifically proven. You can measure energy. It is possible. So if something doesn't feel right, believe it.
I love the story about the interviewee that you had,
Mhm.
the lady, because oftentimes we will think that if we are to take the leap on something, what would people think of us? The judgments, rather than is this for my highest good? Does this come from the heart? And of course, you mentioned it very, very clearly from the start. Like, am I going to be able to sustain myself financially? Do I have enough resources? Right. So, and then you mentioned also, how do you navigate through that? Meaning there are steps to it. So, if you could share with us, in your case,
Yes.
what was the step? What were the steps that you take or are taking now
Okay, the steps that I'm
towards
taking
it?
now.
Mm.
Okay, it is because it's been a whole process. So I've done the self love journey. I'm connected with my feelings because I wasn't connected with my feelings.
How do you
Because
know that?
um, well, also grown up like in the Surinamese culture, we don't talk about our feelings.
Mm.
You don't cry. Was like boys can absolutely not like show emotions, but I was also taught like you don't have any reason to cry, so don't cry. Like feelings are that's what we think are bad. You cannot have feelings, they're bad. Well, if we would just take those feelings in, don't think about anything behind it. Just a feeling just takes 90 seconds. 90 seconds of our time. But as soon as a feeling comes, we're like blocked. No, no, I can't. Well, it gives us also like just a reason to be. Like we are humans. We can feel. But I was designed or I was created just to not have feelings. I did not know what I felt. I didn't. If I felt some kind of way and it didn't like feel good, I would just start working or just do something just to distract myself. Netflix or something. So this is why I was completely disconnected from my feelings because I didn't understand feelings. I had to think about what I feel. I don't know what I feel. So anyway,
Oh, the fact that you said you had to think, meaning you were not here. You were
no,
actually
I
here. You
had
were
to
trying to
think.
rationalize what
I
are you
yes,
feeling.
yes,
Oh.
yes. So those are the steps, and those were those steps for me were a lot of work. So now for me, and this is what I do, if I don't feel good for 2 days, because we all, like, as I told you, like when you're, sometimes we have patterns and we do them unconsciously. And for me, when I do things that are not aligned with what I want, I get a bad feeling. And if that feeling doesn't like change in a day or two, I'm sitting with myself, I breathe in and breathe out and connect with my intelligences to really understand what is happening. Just to really asking my heart, like, okay, what is happening? And yeah, it is a tool that I use in my sessions as well to understand and to get out of the brain to get the full story. Like, why is this happening? Why am I not feeling good? Why cannot make I cannot make those steps? And by doing that over and over and over and over again, I am now completely ready just to go for it. Just to give myself a chance. This is how I want to give myself a chance. I want to give myself a chance to that life that I'm dreaming about. That's what I want to do. And that's what I'm going to do.
And I'm here rooting for you all the way. I love the fact when you said asking the question why, because those questions are really uncomfortable if you are used to just hiding from it or just suppressing it.
Hmm.
Why do I feel like this? Oh, is it because I was told that I wasn't good enough before and
Hmm.
therefore
Yeah.
I didn't want to, I'm not worthy of doing something, going after what I want. I'm not worthy of the promotion, for example, for those in the workplace. Somebody has come up to me, for example, that, oh, you're not, the things that you've done, whatever that you've done before, you're just not going to cut it for whatever it is that you're preparing for in the next rank. And so you take that with you and you identify with that yourself with that, and you feel like the name of my podcast, worthless. I mean,
Mm,
that's the extreme side of it, because worthless means you're not worth anything. Like, you're not worth your time, anybody's time, your own time even. And I think that's when self-love and compassion towards your own self comes in.
absolutely.
And Yeah. And the self love is a work as well because we're always accustomed, at least for me as well, growing up Asian parenting, you have to prove yourself.
Mm,
You have to prove yourself. And so if I don't perform good in my studies, therefore I'm not worthy of, let's say, a new laptop.
yeah, okay.
Now, I mean, in hindsight, it pushed me to be better and to work hard for something that I want. But what it carried, the bad side also stuck with me in the sense that I am not worthy. I need to be working so hard X times just to get this amount or this position. And it doesn't serve us if we want to switch from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset, right? Especially for women, we are supposed to, okay, when I say suppose, it means because the way we lead is to, because everybody has masculine and feminine. So feminine,
Absolutely.
yeah, femininity means standing in your power and not in calmness, right? Just resting and knowing that it will happen for you, trusting that process. And if you are wired to just go, go, go for women too, that's when, at least for me, it manifested in, hormonal imbalances, everything. And now doing that introspection and taking that step back to the last, I think, 5, 6 years, it's been the total opposite. Like my the well-being I feel, it's so much better than when I was in go-go mode. I wasn't sleeping well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it shows in our energy levels, right?
absolutely. Yeah, it does. You feel it. Yeah, and sleep is not overrated. We need sleep.
Oh
And
yes.
it's good that because you also know like where your patterns stem from, and it's all about like we want to earn that love, we want to be accepted,
Ooh,
and
yes.
it's a form of survival, and that is important. But the change is then that's why self-love is very important, that you don't need that love of others anymore, you need the love of yourself and the trust of yourself. You need to trust yourself and to be like, you know what? Doesn't matter how or what, I'm going to be there for me. And I love me, myself completely. So, mistakes and all, if I do things right or wrong, I'm okay. Yeah.
So, thank you. That was like a warm hug for
Yeah.
me.
Oh.
So, Sharon, how do you condition, or yeah, condition your mind and your heart, trusting that whatever it is that you are planning for
Mhm.
in Portugal or in Bali or wherever in the world, how does faith and trust play in your life?
This is the thing. It's the faith in myself, because I must say I think there's like a higher power, but I don't, yeah, like the Bible, like, yeah, I do not connect. I do not connect with religion. But like, I believe there's a higher power, and that everything is possible. Absolutely. That positivity, especially because, I like neuroscience, and it's also proven by neuroscientists that whatever how do you say it, put out,
Oh,
positive,
emanate. Yeah,
emanate, yes. So emanate, you
you
can
get back.
create it. And it's like scientifically proven. I don't know, like, because I'm not a scientist, but I love to listen to these things, but that you can actually create your reality. So
Joe
I believe,
Dispenza. Do you
yeah.
listen to Dr. Joe? I love him.
And I know,
I
like,
love
it's,
him.
it's more like a spiritual connection, but for me, like, spirituality is very important, but I always need to make sense out of it. I can
Mm.
only I can believe, but it needs to make sense. And science makes sense to me because it's proven. There's results. There some things they cannot prove, but I accept that. It's okay. But a lot of things they can. So if I listen to like spiritual leaders, for example, it's so connected to science. So yes, it is, first of all, believing in myself. um And that's difficult. That is difficult because so I am very impatient. To be honest, I am very impatient. If I want things to come, I want to come them to come yesterday.
Yeah.
I get stressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, nothing is working out for me. Blah blah blah
Yes.
blah 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 blah, and my energy goes. Yeah.
And
So
nothing is going right in my life anymore. Whatever
nothing
that
is
I've
going
worked
right in
for,
my life.
it's a waste of time.
Yes, your whole world shifts, and this is very important to know. Like your whole world shifts. Like my world is different than like how I see the world can be different than how you see the world, because like we are different cultures. We have experienced different things. For me, for example, traveling could be, just taking a plane, just exploring, just enjoying connecting with people. While for others, a journey could be, or a vacation, yeah, a journey could be from going from A to Z, or sitting in a resort for a week. We all
Yes.
have our own ideas, our own lives, our own, how can I say it? Yeah, we create our own reality. We
Yes.
create our own reality. And we this is for me, like we have the power to create our own reality. But the first thing is trusting yourself. And with trust, that means self-love. And self-love will give you the faith that you need to make the thing that you want, happen.
Last week I was just in Kuala Lumpur. Now I'm in the other side of it,
Hmm.
other side of Malaysia, Kuala
Hmm.
Lumpur, and then this is the first time I've gone back to the city after moving back to East Coast where I come from, my hometown. This when I went back, it was like the freest moment of my lives where I went back I was there from Thursday to Friday. And so all of my friends are working 9 to 5. And here I am on a Monday, just jumping from one friend to another just to catch up. Like, okay, I'm going to meet you during lunchtime. When can you do it? And then dinner time. It's like I have the freest. It's like I felt so free. I was unencumbered by nothing,
Hmm.
basically by work, nothing, none of that. My parents are back here. Not that they do not allow me to go and with my friends, but then I felt liberated in the sense that now I have made the leap. It was kind of forced because of the layoff to entrepreneurship. I get to create my own reality, and I managed to get back home where I am in and I live at different places. I don't need hotels because I've lived there for 15 years. And so all of my friends are like opening their doors for me. Nick, you can come and stay with me one night one. And I get to catch up with them. And so I mean other people, foreigners coming into Kuala Lumpur, they would have to pay. And for me, it's like, okay, Nick, you this is actually what you want, right? You want the freedom, and you can do that with your own business. And of course, for you to get to that mindset to where I am now, I also did a lot of work on
Yeah.
unlearning some patterns.
Mm.
And so just trusting that the universe will align things for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is such a powerful message, Sharon. Okay, I am also very mindful of the time, so tell us, Sharon, what are you working on currently?
At this moment, I am really focused on creating a free course. It is called From People Pleasing to Power Moves. So it's a 5-day course, and that you can really understand what your people pleasing patterns are, what people pleasing actually is, and where it stems from, and how you could turn that around without, having assertiveness courses or completely being completely out of yourself. It's just to understand the power of inner leadership. Yes. So that's what I'm creating now. I'm building that now. And I also want to go to a more like a membership model where just people can just like enjoy our events. That's all about inner leadership, inner journeys. I'm going to, because I'm more like the science person, I like science, but I'm also going to connect it with, things that I'm not familiar with. It's like an inner journey. It's all about experiencing. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
work with experts that maybe just do something more like spiritual. And like, I know breathwork is not spiritual, but these are the things that you can expect. So I'm just looking, and it's going to be a journey as well for me. And it would be nice for people just to really work on themselves, because most of the time we don't really take the time. We are just consumed of our day, work, children, parents, always taking care of others, while it is also so essential just to take care of you. And that's why it's nice just to have a platform where you have the opportunity to really focus on some subjects and really see how it influences you and what you can do. So that's what I'm building at this moment.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Okay, Sharon,
thank
we're
you.
gonna pivot to a self-worth question.
Okay.
My the question I have for you is: many people struggle with feelings of worthlessness at some point in their lives. In your opinion, what are some common triggers for these feelings, and how can individuals cope with them effectively?
Yes, I must say, I like when that word worthless, as it just hurts. Because when you feel worthless, you're just so down the path, and that's the feeling that I have, like so down the path, that it starts with self-love. It starts with like looking at yourself in the mirror and just say, I love you, I love you, I love myself, I love myself, and do it day after day after day after day until you feel it, just to have that power. And you know what happens, you will keep your head up because you're feeling it, like, oh yes, I love myself, I do love myself. And that is like, only that word is so powerful, because you connect words to them that gives you the energy to feel like, you know what, I'm not worthless, I am worth something, and I feel it and I know it. This is also the first step to just having that trust in yourself. Nobody's worthless.
Thank you. What is your heart's greatest wish?
My heart's greatest wish is, I want to share my knowledge to I need every woman to know about this. I want every woman just to believe in herself. That is my, yeah, that is what I want to do. I want to travel around, inspire, share my story so women can just understand. I just want to plant seeds so people can get back to their, I call it the music of their hearts, like what is important to you, just to hear it again. Because most of the time we just shove it aside because of our fears, or something happens, children, family happens, you have to take care of others, while we also need to listen to our own music. Yeah.
Okay. If you could create a quote right now for you to
Oof.
leave to the audience listening and the world as Sharon's legacy, what would it be?
I cannot use ChatGPT for this.
You can. I mean, you can. You can.
Okay,
Or
so
what comes in your mind, like right now. Or it doesn't have to be, you can take it from others. It's okay.
no, you know what? Because for me, the power was in silence. Silence is so powerful. Just quietness. Just silence everything around you and just focus and stare, and the reality will like show up, will pop up. I think that there's power in silence. Yeah.
Oh my God. I need that. There is power in silence.
Yeah.
Okay, Sharon, how can people reach out to you?
Yeah. Well, via New Leaders Movement. I am now building the course, as I said, the 5-day course, but you can sign up for the guest, for the waiting list. It's free, so why not just explore? But you can also find me on LinkedIn, because I'm very active on LinkedIn. But then you have to remember my name, Sharon Van Sprang. That's how
Ooh, I
the
love that.
Dutchies say it.
Sharon
That's
Van
how the
Sprang.
Dutchies say it. English is Sharon Van Sprang.
Uh-huh. But if it's Dutch, what is it?
Sharon Van Sprang.
Oh my God, Sharon Van Sprang. Okay.
Yeah.
I try. I don't want to butcher it. Okay.
No, so yeah, just find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, reach out to me. I love to connect. I love to talk.
I love it. Well, okay. Any last messages for our listeners, Sharon, before we wrap up the interview?
Be kind to yourself. I think it starts with kindness. just be kind to yourself. Don't be so harsh. It doesn't serve anything. It just costs you energy and it keeps you unhappy.
There you have it, everyone. That is a wrap on today's inspiring episode with Sharon Van Sprang. Thank you for your wisdom,
Thank you
Sharon,
so
and
much.
your dedication for your
Oh,
work and to continue to uplift others around you. And for our listeners, this has been your Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, if you've ever felt worthless, remember you are not alone. Your soul chose to be here, to matter. And for that reason alone, you are worthy. A huge thank you to you again, Sharon, and to all of you for listening. Until next time, I am Nick Nieras. Keep shining, keep growing, and always remember you are worthy and you are enough. See you in the next episode. Thank you, Sharon, for your time.
thank you. Bye.
Love this episode? Now, transformation doesn't end here. Head on to at holistic.lifestyle_with_Nick. That is on my Instagram. Or head on to my website, www.denigneraswholisticlifestyle.com for more info on my coaching framework, which is the Worthy, Authentic, and Abundant Framework, digital guides, and my upcoming events such as retreats and master classes and workshops. Now, I also do intuitive readings where we get to check on your soul path. And if you're also wanting to check on your energetic alignment, I have done that too. And I offer that kind of services. So, my question to you is, are you ready? Because I am. Let's create your together. Hello, Sharon. How are you doing today? Good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well,
Probably afternoon for you now.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's 4:05 for me. I would like to say thank you for saying yes to be interviewed today. I'd like to introduce myself to you formally and to all of our listeners tuning in for the first time or those returning subscribers. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, today we're going to talk about reconnecting with the power women have been told to suppress all this while. An exciting conversation for me, and I think for all my listeners too. First off, I'd like to introduce you, Sharon, to all of our listeners first, and then we can get right into our conversation. Hello, everyone. We have Sharon Van Sprang here with us. She is the founder of New Leaders Movement and builder of brave spaces for bold women and visionary teams. Now, Sharon is here for the ambitious women who's done playing small and the company ready to stop losing its best people to burnout, disconnection, and or quiet quitting. Now, her mission is to help women reconnect the power they've been told to suppress and lead, speak, and succeed on their own terms. Wow, definitely a conversation worth having, something that I am excited to dive into, and also my listeners. So, Sharon, welcome to the show.